Third time's the charm. We're gonna do it this way instead. Oh my goodness. As you come live, let me know if you're catching this by replay. In case you've already tried to join us a couple times, this is the alignment code. This is where we turn the page away from all the collapsers into the truth. So yay, Brendan, the Easter egg hunt continues. We are finding our way. Hello, Doreen. Hello, Michelle. Yes, we have been around the block a couple of times already today trying to get this new Facebook tech to work. And so Facebook just recently shifted how you go live. Today is the first day. I was so excited this morning about this new way to go live. And now I'm not as excited about it because it wasn't very friendly with us a couple times here. So hi everybody who's joining us live. Hey Kathy, our amazing triber. Hello Amber, everybody who's finding their way over here. Let me know you can hear me and see me. I'm no longer in Minecraft or pixelated. You can hear me clearly, crystal clear. Shifted to the phone. Maybe my computer's the little thing that's going whack. I don't know. Awesome. Thanks, James. Yay. Okay. So let's go ahead officially and dive in because we've already been like hanging out for 15 minutes playing in this tech space. It's perfect. Yay, Elena. Thank you. Okay. So I feel better too. I'm standing. I told Amy and Ashley day one I was standing. I feel more fire in my energy when I stand. And anybody who's been in a training room with me live, I stand the whole time, 10 hours a day, 3 days in a row, because that's where the energy comes through. So I already feel better. All of that was for a very divine purpose and synchronistic reason so that I can bring the power today with the alignment code. Okay, so here's what we're going to be talking about today in the alignment code. So the alignment code is all about your quantum powers. This is going to be incredibly transformational for you because it's all about literally parallel stepping into your quantum powers, into the truth of who you are and how to do that. Also, we're going to be talking about, these quantum powers, like I said on a previous one, have mutated into actually like 6 quantum powers. So there's been an expansion of the way it was before, and more always comes through. And then the other thing we're going to talk about is the number one thing that you always can do and you always have control over that instantaneously tightens the receiving container we were talking about yesterday, makes Gus even more inspired to provide for you. So that's going to be amazing. So let's just get to it. Okay, so day 3, alignment code. You'll notice each day we're moving up further and further the levels of consciousness, the levels of being, the levels of magnetism. So I started talking about this already, but it's really important for us to bring it back home. Yes, Missy, this is my favorite. This outfit is my favorite training outfit. It's my really fun earrings with this like velvety, like Missy's like, ooh, another shirt that's totally your color. This is totally my color. I want to find more of this shirt, this like velvety shirt. It's amazing. Okay, I digress. Thank you for the compliment. Okay, so we talked about this already, but I want to bring it back home because it's so crucial, and I think we are so conditioned to not believe this, not know it, and not understand it. And that is that, again, effort will always be limited. When we are relying on effort alone in our businesses, when we're relying on effort for the entire infinite galaxy method that we covered on day 1 in the action code, it will always be limited. And so I've experienced this myself as it pertains to weight and health and being healthy and being strong and working out. Like I have done things effort-wise alone for my body for my entire life. It's like I will restrict, I will try keto, I will do intermittent fasting, I will run a 10K, and every single thing I've ever done with my body has been literally 100% effort. And with everything I know about energy, I never figured out how to apply energy to my body. So now I'm working with the amazing Angela Smith to help me with the energy piece in my body. But I recognize, and this is what's so cool, is while I don't rely much on effort in my business, I'm taking a lot of action, and people will say, it seems like you're hustling, you're doing so much, but it never feels like hustle because it's all play. While I don't rely on effort in my business, and I rely 90% on energy, and that's what's been created, I didn't use those same rules as it pertained to my my health. And I didn't even realize that I was doing that. And why it was such a gift is now I recognize why it's so hard for so many of you to trust this process of energy over effort. And so I couldn't fully always relate. I was like, come on, this is just the way it is. It works. Like, look, it's fun. It's energizing. It's effortless. It's easy. It's amazing. It doesn't have to be so hard. It doesn't have to be so complicated. And I would constantly be teaching that. And I was like, gosh, what is wrong with people? Like, how can't they see how easy it can be and how fun it can be and how enjoyable it can be? And then all of a sudden I get to have my own truth bitch slap, which is, well, look at how much effort you've been putting into stepping into your ideal outer image to match the inner image you have of yourself. And here I teach effort is so limited, right? So we're going to talk about effort literally is like tapping into 1% of all of your potential. Yet people are leveraging effort for like 95% of their business and leaving energy on the table. So it will always be limited because at the end of the day, we always only have so many hours in the day. The same is true for all of us. So it's like, how the heck do some people accomplish this in 24 hours and some people accomplish that in 24 hours? There's only one explanation, and that is energy. We all only have the capacity to stay, like we need sleep, right? Like we don't have an unlimited resource of energy in our physical bodies, which is why effort will always be limited. So for their biggest goals, to really defy impossibility, to step into the field of infinite possibilities, miracles, manifestations, records being broken in multiple different directions, we must leverage energy and we must leverage alignment. And these next two codes, the alignment and the awaken code, is all about exactly that. Now, again, that doesn't mean that they're more important than the awareness code that we talked about yesterday. The awareness code is the primary reason why we can't leverage the energy. It's just a balancing and a playing interplay of all of these codes together. Okay, so that's why I shared it. Was for you, Brenda, about the weight. Like, it's so funny. Like, here I teach energy, and it's like, well, of course, why wouldn't it apply everywhere else? And I shared yesterday about my marriage, too. It's like, of course, why wouldn't everything that I teach about business and money apply in all these other areas of my life? I'm always learning, and I think I always unleash with all of you. Every time I do an unleashed experience, like, I'm unleashing, which is so cool and so fun. Okay. So, and by the way, what I'm doing right now and what you're witnessing and partially why we feel so connected in this community, we're going to be talking about on day 5, which is the new business rules. And what I'm literally templating and role modeling right now for you is this new business rule, a little sneak peek, this new business rule of collective marketing and selling as opposed to guru marketing and selling. It's movement marketing and selling, meaning that we are all in this together. We're learning together. We're here to pave this pioneering, trailblazing path together. That while I might understand a couple steps ahead when it pertains to business and money, for most of you, I'm right here with you. I'm walking the path. I am charging the path with all of you, and in all areas of my life. And I'm just understanding it and I'm integrating it really fast so that then I can advise how to do it for you, right? So it's collective versus guru. Which is one of the many rules we'll be talking about on Friday. Okay, so how do we step into energy and alignment? Well, first and foremost, was the awareness code. We have to be willing to see that which we haven't been willing to see, which means going into the dark, going into being with the emotions around attachment, being in the question around our attachments and our fears and our judgments, and being curious with it. Then there's today, which we talk about the quantum powers. So let me share with you the first quantum power. The first quantum power is the power of giving. Now, this power of giving also mutated into like a power and a half of connection. So I'm going to talk first about giving, the power of giving. So I first uncovered the power of giving when it was 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago. Well, whenever this group started, I was in a coaching program. The purpose of the program was all results oriented. It was all hustle. It was all push, make it happen. And the whole purpose of it was to generate 100K in 90 days, not having any funnels. And I'll tell you, so the Infinite Galaxy Method, gosh, you guys, I'm just gonna keep tying the stuff in we've already done. More ice cubes are falling off of we're heating it up again. The ice is falling off the roof. I'm tying this to the Infinite Galaxy Method. So let me just share with you the entire program about how multiple people who are already built successful, like really multiple six-figure businesses, and how then they were gonna add 100K to their bottom line in 90 days. I'll be share with you the pathway as it pertains to the Infinite Galaxy Method. So literally, this was the pathway. And I'm sharing this because I want you guys to know, like, entrepreneurs who, like, this pathway is available to you. And the reason why entrepreneurs who already had a fairly established audience were creating 100K in 90 days was because we had an established audience, because we had generated enough traffic and enough of a following that it worked very quickly. So this Infinite Galaxy Method that was taught was that you make new connections on LinkedIn or Facebook. So it's literally just like sending connection requests every single day, like, in the limit on Facebook's like 20 or 30. So you're building your audience intentionally every single day. How are you finding people that are in resonance or alignment with you? Oh my gosh, I feel like teaching business today. This is interesting. This isn't even about the alignment code, but I guess we're gonna go here. How do you find people that are fully resonant with you? This is another new rule we'll talk more about. We're shifting from niching from a demographic and psychographic standpoint into literally in training, which is how do you pull forward the essence of your clients. Maybe they will fall into a specific category, but it really doesn't matter if they do. So, because when we're in our quantum powers, we just magnetize, like energy attracts like energy. It doesn't really matter if they're a doctor or if they're an entrepreneur or if they're like, that's so superficial in the energetic work of attracting in clients and opportunities and partners and all that. Anyways, so this was the path. So sending out connection requests. So how do you find people are always like, but I don't know my niche, and all the yeah buts, which by the way, all your yeah butting is the awareness code. All your excuses, all your yeah butting, all your like, I don't knows, like whatever, all your reasons why it's not going to work for you, all your terminal uniqueness and what makes you so different, and you don't get me, Stacy, and it's harder for me, and all that bullshit. That's all the awareness code, just so that we're clear. That's your stuff. like all those stories are an illusion. They are not true. Okay? So you literally are thinking about where are people hanging in groups or whatever it may be, that then you can very easily tap into. You do this intuitively. When I did this, which I'm not actively doing it now because my friends are almost at capacity, but intuitively, I would literally just like go into a group and I would see who I have things in common with, because it tells you that when you go into a group and you look at the member list, it tells you who you have things in common with, that you have common interests and common friends. And I would literally just intuitively scroll, and if anything caused me to stop the scroll, I would just like scroll, and if something would stop me to stop the scroll, that would tell me that for some weird reason, due to the synchronistic grid that we're going to be talking about tomorrow, that I was meant to be connected to that person. I didn't know why, I didn't care why, I wasn't thinking, will this person be my client? There was no attachment. It was just like, this person's drawing me in for some reason. I wonder why that is. Send a connection request. So do 20 to 30 of those a day. Again, completely detached, not like, is this the person that's going to be my client? Is this who I want to work with? No, that's attachment. You're collapsing your field. You're literally repelling them before they even accept your friend request. But when you just intuitively are like, something sparks me about this, then it's like, I'm so curious to see where this is going to go. I'm so curious to see how this unfolds. I wonder how our paths are going to cross. I wonder when our paths are going to cross. I wonder if we'll connect right away, or I wonder if we'll connect, 8 years from now. I don't know. I don't care. But for some reason, this is the person that I'm called to connect with, right? So you send those connection requests intuitively, like, or just because, like, this is where it gets really tricky about the attachment that we were talking about yesterday. But it's fun. It's a game. Just be curious. Play with it, right? So that's the first thing. So that's out in the solar system, grabbing new connections. You're building them to your planet, which is your, in this case, Facebook or LinkedIn following, right? So there's the solar system, new connections, never seen you before. They become your friend or your connection on LinkedIn or Facebook. And Instagram's a little bit trickier because you got to play some hashtag game. That's why I just don't play on LinkedIn or on Instagram. And then now they're on your planet. So then the next step is to show up live every single week, sharing high value content. This is what's leading into the quantum power of giving. And then his technique was every single person that's engaging with that live, you then start and deepen a relationship on Messenger. And you reach out and you actually get to know them and you start asking questions and you ask permission-based questions. And then eventually you see an opportunity potentially to say, is that something you'd like help with? Now you're transitioning them into your hometown to have an actual conversation off of Messenger. This is social selling. This is what a lot of people are doing, and this is how they're building their businesses online. So we went from solar system friend connections, planet, which is your social following, now they're friends and they're connected to you, nurturing your planet with high value, the quantum power of giving, deepening the relationship on Messenger, so you're still nurturing, now you've moved it into Messenger, so you're cross-pollinating the planet, it's going a little bit deeper, inviting those that you feel a deep connection with and that you think you can actually continue to expand the giving and support deeply into a conversation. Now they're in your hometown. If it feels relevant and like a connected thing to do, you can invite them then into your paid offer. That was it. Like that was the whole path. This is what is being taught. Now it's simple, and this is why I say effort is limited, because it's so simple. Yet why aren't so many people doing it? Well, because of the awareness code, because of all the collapsers, right? And so, yeah, Jessica, you're doing this right this second. So this is where, so now let me go to, so this was his process, but again, I've become really into human design. I'm a projector, which means I need to be invited. So if I insert myself into things, like literally, like I'm repelled. So I just got to show up and be the light, and then people come out of the woodwork. I think this works. It works this way for any kind of design. Still, what I'm sharing. So what I chose to do, what intuitively felt right for me, knowing what I know about energy, knowing that when I get into Messenger, I couldn't reconcile how to do that piece without being attached. I also have a high value around efficiency and not exerting a lot of energy. Like I really don't like I don't like to waste time. It's a trigger for me to waste time. And I really don't like chit chat, and I really don't like having conversations with strangers. Like I create a vision in my mind that I show up and the people that resonate come to me, and that's my reality, and that's what's been created. So because that's the reality that I was creating, I didn't follow it to a T, because I know that effort is limited and energy is limitless. So I just said, you know what feels really good to me is truly showing up and serving powerfully. And this is the quantum power of giving. I would ask myself every single Sunday, I would know, first of all, I made a deep commitment to myself. I will show up every week and I will teach. And these are the videos that are in this group, in the units part of this group. And so I would ask myself every Sunday night, I would say, what could I share that would give people real results, that I didn't hold anything back, and I taught the most potent content I could that I would share with a client that's paying me $15,000 or $20,000. What would I share then? And that's what I did. Whatever idea came to me, the insight would come and I would act. And so you'll see those videos, it's like, any idea that came to me, I didn't hold anything back. Just like in the Unleashed experience. There's no like, this is reserved for my clients. If I do say that, it's because we're already on these things for 90 minutes and I can't give you everything this week. Like I'm trying to hold back the fire hose, but it's already not working very well, right? And so, but it's not intentional, like I can't give everything away because this is for my clients. So two things happened. Well, many things happened when I stepped into the quantum power of giving. And it was totally detached. And this is where you might have heard me say before that I created 100K in 90 days. I won every contest not every, but like 3 out of the 4 contests that were in my 90-day group. I beat almost everybody in the sales competition. Like I was like the grand prize winner because I had the highest sales, and I didn't do half of what I was supposed to be doing because I was just giving. I just showed up every single week and I taught. I asked that question. What could I share that would get people real results for nothing in return, and just give? And this is where like some of you might be like, yeah, but if I give it all away, whatever is coming up around that, it's a story. So one of the things that I uncovered was that was the first time I learned I have a never-ending amount of content, that I can tap into wisdom, that I never run out of content. Like, and I would get fearful of that. I'd be like, well, if I teach that this week, what am I going to teach next week? And then I would just back up and I'd say, I'll figure it out. Something will come to me. And it always did. I couldn't even believe the amount of content that were coming through, right? And so then people, were coming into my world. Amber, that's where many of you came into my world through that. And so it was, one, I never ran out of content. It built a muscle of creativity, the power of giving. And two, it created 100K in 90 days. And I didn't even have to do the last 2 or 3 steps. And I didn't make a single call to action. So how does that happen? Because my energy, people were having such a deep experience of holy shit, I can't believe I just learned this. I just got more from this video than I got from that $10,000 coaching program. That then what happens psychologically, and this is happening for many of you psychologically through the Unleashed experience, it's not manipulation, it's just the way we work, is you're thinking, shit, if I got that for free, what other results could I get if I actually invested in myself? And so that's where the desire comes from, because it's all of a sudden whoa, if I got this just by showing up for an hour, not because I gave it, but it's whoa, if I experienced this shift in this short amount of time, what's possible for me beyond this? I want to know more. And so what it does in the power of giving is it sparks inspiration and possibility in people, where they're if I got this way, there's more for me. There's more possibility for me. So then people would reach out without any call to action and ask those questions. How are you working with people? Are you taking clients? Do you think I'd be a good fit for your program? And that was where the 100K in 90 days came from. Okay, so, okay. Yes, Lauren, that's so normal. People don't sleep during the Unleashed experience. This is such a massive transmission of energy that people are you're tapping into you already set intention to unleash. So that's totally normal experience. Okay, so that's the power of giving. There's no strings attached. This is the first level of detached involvement. I'm going to show up, no strings attached, and I'm going to see what ideas come through that literally transform people's lives just by experiencing the wisdom, the knowledge that I'm sitting on, that I've learned through my own experience, that I'm channeling through me. I'm going to just give it all away. Now, the other thing that comes up around this is that the key about the power of giving is that there's boundaries around it. So it's I'm willing to show up. I'm willing to show up for the Unleashed experience. These videos will go away on Tuesday. There's boundaries around it because this is an energetic exchange. It's pure level 4 giving, and also the level 5 is and level 4 for myself, and I respect myself enough to know that if you want to reach out to me and pick my brain, the answer is no. I have boundaries about it. So it's not oh, the power of giving, I'm just going to give everything away. I get messages every single week of people saying, hey, can I pick your brain on this? Or they don't say, can I pick your brain? Because they don't really say that anymore. It's a little bit more manipulative. It's hey, I'm really passionate about working with teens. Can we sit down and have a conversation? And my answer is always no. My time is too valuable. I don't do one-off conversations. I just don't do it. And so that's the boundary. I will show up one to many. I will share. I will give every piece of information I have, but the buck stops here, and then that's the boundary. And so nobody has access to my calendar. Nobody has access to my time unless it's for very specific reasons, unless they are clients or unless they want to talk about becoming a client. That's the only way people are booking calls with me, and or more my friends, obviously. But yeah, and my own coaches. Anyways, okay. Key of the power of giving. Okay, got it. Yeah, awesome. Jessica, I'm guilty. I did that. Did I turn you down, Jessica, when you're can I talk to you about this? I'm sure I did, unless you were in here. I was asking you the wrong way. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. So that's cool. So it's the power of giving doesn't mean I'm just going to deplete myself and be at everybody's whim and serve them to no end, right? It's saying this is what I'm willing to give, and I'm happy to share it freely, and this is where it stops. Okay. So again, the question that you can sit with to tap into the power of giving every single week, and this is where the magic really starts, is what could I share or teach that would get people real results and breakthroughs now? What could I share or teach that could get people real results or breakthroughs now? So here's the thing about the power of giving and why it works in this way from an energetic perspective. It creates the multiplier effect. So when we focus on ourselves, what I want, me, myself, and I, the reason why it's limiting is there's only one of us. And so there's only so much energy that can come to one person. And we restrict and constrict the amount of energy flow. This is why when I said the content never stopped coming, it's because the more I poured out, it multiplied back in more content. But if I was hoarding it all for myself, I was restricting the ability to access more wisdom and more knowledge and more learning that I could then turn around and share. So whenever we're hoarding our giving, we're literally keeping stuck in stagnant energy. It stops all the circulation. As opposed to when we're putting out through the power of giving and we're focusing on others, energy matches and we multiply our output. It feeds and fuels itself. It's a boomerang effect. The more we're putting out, the circulation, the more that comes back, and it feeds and it fuels itself in a very circulatory way. So what comes from you comes back to you in the form of manifesting your desires. What comes from you comes back to you. So I placed my order, in this case it was a very specific order, but I was still detached to it. It was more so like, how cool would that be if I added an extra 100K to my bottom line in the next 90 days? How interesting would that be? I wasn't attached. It wasn't to fulfill any unmet needs. It wasn't like then I'd feel successful as an entrepreneur. I already got that t-shirt the first year I was in business. It was truly just like, why not? I wonder what that would be like to do that, to break my own records. It was very much just like I placed my desire 100K in 90 days. It was specific, but it was detached. And then it was pretty much like exactly 100K in 90 days. And since that time, with these other quantum powers and playing with the power of giving and these next quantum powers I'm going to be sharing with you, now it's 100K in 30 days, 100K in 60 days. It's like the records just keep breaking over and over again. I haven't placed an order for anything different than that, just for the shits and giggles to see what happens. But I know if I do place the order for anything different than that, then that's going to happen too. But again, it's like, other than just for shits and giggles, it's not really serving any purpose. I don't know. No, that didn't feel like true. There was something there. There was my own belief was there. I don't need excess, which is level 3 energy. It's like, it's not for excess. It's for the more money that circulates through me. See, I'm processing with you guys right now. This is just as much for me. It's all for me, actually. It's not for any of you, but yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Anyways, so this connects to it's like it had a little baby. It's still the first quantum power, and that's the power of connection. And nothing happens. We talked about this on day 1. Nothing happens without connection. And social capital is the only thing ultimately that we have that survives all other things. What I mean by that is if Facebook died tomorrow, I still have social capital. I still have deep connections from multiple years in multiple different arenas that I can stay connected to. So the power of connection is, how are you deeply connecting with others? How are you developing true relationships and true connections? Right? And so yeah, I love this. Yes, Jessica, so sticking smart. My current intention to build authentic connections with people whom I actually feel drawn to connect with. If it results in a working partnership, cool. If not, also cool. Yes. So think about that. Like, all money is circulated through humans. Cats are not playing poker, or dogs aren't playing poker at the table. Even though the painting looks real, it's not real. It's all being circulated through us. And the only way it's going to circulate is through connection. So that's the power of connection. Hey, Sakari. Okay, so that's the first quantum power. The second quantum power. Oh, this one's my favorite. You guys are going to know why I do. The second quantum power is the power of expression. The power of expression. So when you couple the joy, the power of giving with the power of expression, you become a magnetic force. A magnetic force. And so this is your beingness. So yes, while I want to serve powerfully through giving, it is more important to me that I express. Because I have zero control over what anybody outside of me receives. And the greatest receiving that I get is when I get to be in my fullest expression, when I get to speak my truth, when I get to declare my truth, when I get to express it as fully and raw and real and potently as I possibly can. So the power of expression is not holding anything back. It's standing so fully in your voice and in your truth and a willingness to put that above all things else, all other things. We're playing with archetypes right now in Tribe, and we talk about the prostitute archetype, and the prostitute archetype holds back her voice for approval. The prostitute says, I will sell my truth to be liked. I will sell my truth for people to be helped. I will sell my truth. Anytime that we are dimming our truth or dimming our power and the power that we have to express either through writing or speaking, because that's really the only two ways. I guess we could express through dance too. I don't even think about the physical ways. See, I'm working on the connection to my body. But the only way that the power of expression is just being willing to, at all costs, express your truth, even if it costs you being burned at the stake, even if it costs you every single relationship. And this is where I literally have a mantra that says the only thing I can't live with at the end of these days, at the end of my life, is not expressing the truth and wholeness of what wants to come through me. And if that means it makes me bankrupt, if that means I scare every client away, and this is phase 2 of detached involvement, if that means my husband leaves me, if that means my kids disown me, if that means that I live in a cabin alone and I write like a recluse, then by golly, that's what's got to happen. Because the only thing I'm not willing to compromise is my expression and my truth. And that's the lover archetype, and it's really standing in that. And the craziest thing is that the deeper you stand in your expression and all the collapsers of fear that come in that stop you from standing in this, it's actually the thing that makes everything happen that you want. So this is literally tightening the container. And it's like, and it's, yes, it's integrity with oneself, and like Lewis just said, and it's high standards for yourself and a commitment, a deep commitment to yourself, a willingness to lose it all. And in the willingness to lose it all, you get it all. You receive it all. I work with 55 of the most amazing, brilliant people in the world that I get to call clients. How do I get so lucky to have such beautiful, brilliant, genius, revolutionary, committed clients? Because they're in training to my expression. And if I'm not in my fullest expression, which for a long time in my business, I would say for the first 5 years of my business, when I wasn't in my fullest expression and I was thinking, what do people want to hear? And let me teach them funnels, and let me teach them this, and this is what people are buying. And I was in my prostitute archetype, and I was selling my soul for financial security and for approval from other people. Oh man, did I not really enjoy a lot of my clients. It was like a totally different ballgame, because I was attracting them in through a dimmed version of myself. And then I was like, why don't I want to get on this coaching session? Why do I feel so bored right now? I'm doing what I love and I don't feel jazzed and excited and pumped up. And it's because I didn't allow the fullest expression of myself to come forward until a couple of years ago. And when I did, it's like, you can't it's like, how can it get even better? And it just keeps getting better and more and better and more. And I attract in dream partners and support like Amy and Ashley. And I attract in amazing partnerships like podcasts and summits and resources, and the most incredible copywriter who writes copy for Mind Valley, and she writes copy for me, and she's helping me write my book. And I attract in all the most amazing souls in the whole freaking planet and world. I attract in all of you. I attract in all of you. I attract in the most brilliant, beautiful, incredible people into the Unleashed experience. And I hear from people who have been on my marketing teams, or they've been on my sales team, and they weren't exactly a resonant fit. Or I guess I hear this from Amy and Ashley too. They're like, the clients that come through Unleashed experience are like nothing I've ever seen before. And it's like, the only way to do that, the only way for you to create that, is to be in the power of expression. It's the only way. Anything other than the fullest expression at all costs sets you up, one, for it closes your receiving container, and two, it sets you up for pain and suffering and lackluster and dim and dull. And who wants that in this one big, beautiful, juicy life? Okay. Okay, I'm just checking in with you guys. How's that? You picking up what I'm putting down? You feeling that? What I want to know is like, does that like, do you feel that? Do you feel the truth? Like, what are you feeling in your body as you experience truth? Like truth. Like you feel that expansiveness, you feel that buzzing, you feel that like, yeah, like the hearts, the likes, whatever it is. Like if like you're feeling this in your system, that is how you experience the truth. And anything that feels dense and heavy is an illusion. And when it feels expansive and bubbly and like a kid again, that's truth. Yes, that's truth. What about if it's an unpopular opinion? Being burned at the stake doesn't sound amazing, but it's worth it. So that's the thing, is that in fact, when your truth is going to be unpopular opinion. So the reason why all of you are here is because I'm not teaching you the same fucking shit. Every other group that you go into, every other experience that you go into, what are they going to be teaching? You could literally rattle it off. They're going to be teaching you how to discover your niche, how to do this. It's like, it's the same stuff. And people are like, yeah, just keep teaching the same stuff. And you just put your own flair and flavor on it. But it's like, guess what? There's more for you. You don't need other people's stuff. And so much of what I'm teaching, yeah, it's inspired by stuff outside of me. It's not like all a direct channel from source. But the only purpose is for inspiration for my own expression. It's not because anything other reason other than that. And so the fear is very real. So here's the real truth. Oh shit. Here's the real truth. What part of you isn't already burned at the fucking stake? What part of you isn't already dead because you aren't expressing your truth? That's the real truth. We're so afraid of what's going to happen, but the reality is you've already created that reality. Because to me, when I wasn't expressing my truth, I was dead inside. My soul was dead inside. And is that what I'm afraid of is going to happen when I speak my truth? And that's why I say it's the Costanza method. The Costanza method is that everything you believe that is fear-based, the opposite will happen. The moment that you start speaking your truth, you will not be stoned to death or burned at the stake. What will actually happen is you will be risen up as the pioneer and revolutionary leader that you are, guiding and leading people into the next level of consciousness, creating new paradigms that forever defy what used to be normal. You will become unshakable, unstoppable. You will not become obsolete. And so long as we stay in the death of our soul because we're afraid of our soul dying or people killing us, so long as we stay in that, then you will be obsolete and you will be invisible. And you know what? If people want to burn me at the stake, at least I know they're passionate and they care. But you know what would hurt even worse? Never being seen or being heard. Not even because other people need to see me, but never seeing or hearing myself. I will throw stones at me, I'm channeling this right now because I'm saying this for myself because this is a new area that I started stepping into about, because you get a lot thrown at you on Facebook ads, lots of stuff, lots of triggers. Throw it all at me, because if you are that passionate to go against the truth that I'm called to share, it is because it is triggering people's comfort zone. And I would rather wake people up, even if I'm waking up the giants and the anger and the hate, than let everybody just continue to be robots and numb and dead in their souls. So that's what the choice is. The choice is, this is where detached involvement comes in, is where it's like, you know what? I'm willing to take all that. The only thing I'm not willing to take is never hearing or experiencing the depth of my own truth. That is the only thing that if I go to my grave and that doesn't happen, I will come back as a freaking ant when I reincarnate, because I am useless. Okay, there. Whew. Okay, that was fun. Yes, Lewis, George Costanza. If you want to know the George Costanza episode, I'll just share that real quick. And literally, if you just start doing the opposite of all the shit you're doing, I guarantee your life's going to blow up in a really good way. Okay. Okay, yeah. Oh, my heart's racing on that one. Okay, so George Costanza method. So there's anybody, I'm not a Seinfeld fan. My husband's a Seinfeld fan, but I happened across this episode while he was watching it. And the Costanza method, so George, nothing's going right in his life, right? Like everything's a mess. Like he's a nobody just trying to be a somebody. And so at one point, Jerry, right? Jerry said, I'm butchering this, but whatever. Jerry says, George is complaining. He's like, nothing's going right. And everything's a mess. My relationships, all this stuff is a mess. And George says, well, if everything's a mess, why don't you just do the opposite of everything that you've been doing? And so George is like, yeah, why not? Kind of like, what do I have to lose? Like, I already have created everything that I don't want by doing everything, trying to do everything right, trying to be the nice guy. And so it was particularly in relationships. There was a girl that kind of caught his eye up at the bar, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to do the opposite. And he goes up to her and he says, I'm a loser. I don't have a job. I live with my parents. And, basically like I suck. And the woman's like, oh, really? You want to go to dinner? And he's like, oh, it worked. So all these things, all these masks, trying to pretend to be something that we're not, what they're really just looking for is the truth. And so how do we find it, hear it, know it? So great question, Yelena. Am I overthinking this? Yes, of course you're overthinking this. That's our conditioning, our saboteur, thinking that there's a process and a plan to find the truth. That's just our conditioning. We think like that there's actually a process or a plan. But you know what? All of that processing and planning is the long way. That's the efforting way. And we could probably come up with you'll find one path and then somebody else say it's a different path and then it'll be a different path. And I can kind of systemize some of this stuff, but most of it comes down to just making a damn decision. And it starts by just putting it into practice in little ways. So if we can't find our truth in our expression to even say, yeah, I feel like Chinese tonight. I don't want Mexican. Yeah, I want to have this. Yeah, I don't want to go for a walk. I want to stay home. Yeah, I don't want to do this. It's like just starting to find our voice and our truth in little ways can start building that muscle. But if you really want to find it in the fastest way, it starts with just making a decision. So back to decision, act, believe, like we talked about on day one. You make the decision. You're just like, from this day forward, I will speak my truth at all costs. And it's going to be scary as hell. And it's going to be really uncomfortable. And the people around you are going to be like, what the hell just happened overnight? And you're going to be like, yeah, I just made a commitment that it's me first. And I'm going to speak my truth at all costs. And it's just a decision. And then you just do it. So it's like, part of it's like, there's no like, oh, like I could say, yeah, release your blocks, but it's like, this is where fear becomes a decoy. We're like, oh, let me overcome the fear. And then all of a sudden we're over here chasing the fear out, when it's like, oh, guess what? You could have just walked right into the fear and then it would have just went away and it would have revealed itself for the illusion that it is. So it's very like, it's very much just like, it's just a decision. You just got to decide. And I'm not saying it's an easy decision. And I'm not saying that the decision isn't going to bring stuff up. I'm just saying that it's a decision. Anything we don't have in our life, it's because we haven't decided to have it. That's it. Anything you don't have, anything that you do not have in your life, you just haven't decided to have it. You haven't decided and stood by it and committed to it. And that doesn't mean you have to decide and bust your ass and hustle yourself to the grave. It just means once you decide, the universe and everything starts to organize around you to help bring it to you. But we think that the decision comes with a cost, so we don't make the decision. And you're darn right, the decision might come with a cost. But it's like, what are you already paying? Right? So the decision comes with a cost, but what are you already paying? Okay, that's the joy of expression. So here, when I talk about the joy of expression, this is like, think about, this will so resonate. Who here, by likes and thumbs up, who likes like catching like American Idol on just the auditions or The Voice, like, or catching some of those videos on YouTube? Like, who finds that incredibly inspiring when it's like this raw talent just like pops up out of nowhere on these audition shows or on this reality TV? Or maybe you just see it scrolling your feed, and all of a sudden you see some little girl who can belt her lungs out like she's Aretha Franklin even though she's 4. Yeah, so who's like, yeah, I get it. Like, I love seeing that stuff. Like, that, who gets moved to their core when all of a sudden you see somebody show up and you're like, holy shit, they went to someplace else. There was stuff coming out of them that is inexplainable. That is the power of expression. So I love seeing it, especially in auditions during American Idol, or even if you just go to YouTube. It moves us to our core. We feel our entire system lean in further to the screen. We feel our entire system just be like, I can't believe I just witnessed that. That was art. That was magic. And I actually watch people, usually they come in, they think that they're like, don't have anything to really say, and they're like, I'm really nervous, and I don't even know why I'm here, and they're super detached, and because they're like, I know I'm probably not gonna get it, they're probably super insecure. This is what I see on these music shows anyways. They're probably a little bit insecure, and then all of a sudden, and they've got a story that, you know, this is usually the MO. I just play music because it helped me get through a bad time. I just play music because it's the only thing that brings me sunshine during these dark days. They're not playing music to become fucking famous. They're not trying to be Beyonce. They're just like, I just do this because it brings me joy. And then they're like, all right, he's calling. Okay, there. All right, go ahead and play for us. And they're like, y'all nervous? And then they like close their eyes and they like take a deep breath and then they go someplace else. And then the judges have to stop them and they're like, stop, okay, we're good. And they like, it takes them a while to come out of it. And they're like, oh, they don't even remember where they are. They forgot the judges were even there. They got lost in their expression. And those are the people that we like move, and they move us to our core. Witnessing them reminds us of our expression. And we're like, whoa, that is like unbelievable. But again, what they're revealing to us is the level of detachment. Is they play music because they love it, and somebody told them they were good and they should try out for American Idol. Okay, cool. But they're like, I don't even know if I want to be famous. I don't know if I want to sign up for this. Like, I really love my music. I love my music the way it is. And they're the ones that go to the finals. They're the ones that become famous. They're A Star is Born. And the ones who are like, I've always wanted to be a singer, and I've always wanted to be on the big stages, and I've always wanted all this. And then they go in and they like suck. Or they don't suck, because none of them really like suck that bad. But they definitely don't stand out. And the criticism is pretty harsh. And even if they do stand out, they don't last, because eventually their own desire consumes them and sabotages their opportunity to be seen in their fullest expression. So when I talk about the joy of expression, that's what I mean. Anything that moves you to your core, I can assure you, you're going to see stuff. When we see humanity coming to the table right now, when we are so moved to our core, it is people just being people for no other reason than just being who they are. That's what moves us. So when we show up in our businesses and we're like, I'm going to inspire you, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and we're attached to that, it has to be a certain way, and people are going to hear me, and people are going to listen to me, and all that stuff, you are collapsing all of the energy because of the attachment, as opposed to just making expression the first thing. So when I talk about the power of expression, I say this every single time. I don't even care if you guys are here. I don't care how many people are here. I don't care how many people watch it on replay. I mean, it's fun seeing your comments and everything. I'm super excited to connect and all of that. But honestly, I would be doing this exact same way. I'd be standing up this way. I'd be speaking this way. That's why you guys couldn't even tell me that the damn audio wasn't working on day one, because I'm just like, this is for me. This is my expression. This is just me in the joy of expression. This is just me experiencing pure joy. And I'm allowing you to see me experiencing pure joy in the expression. That's it. Like, so if nobody's here, I'm not going to change anything that I'm doing. I'm still just going to express. I'm just choosing to do it. I'm choosing to do it in front of people. That's visibility, is when you express and you're willing to do it just in front of an audience. I could do this expression not in front of a camera. I would still be doing this expression. But where business becomes magnetic is when you're willing to be seen in your expression. Or as Jim Carrey says in his commencement speech, he says, what does he say? Your playing small is making you invisible. Be willing to be seen in all of your glory. Be willing to be seen in all of your glory. And so it's just a willingness to be in your fullest expression and be seen. Okay. So the question, thank you for bringing this back, Jessica, because I almost forgot this. So my question shifted from what can I share that would give people real results? My question shifted, this was like when then it was 100K in 60 days. My question shifted to what wants to be expressed through me? What message wants to be expressed through me? And if you ever get a chance to check out my profile, I don't post much. This is a perfect example of the power of expression, and then also the power of creativity, which is the third quantum power. I watch this happen. If you look at my, if you go through my profile and you just look through my different posts, you'll see that expression. It's raw, it's real, it's unedited, it's not grammatically correct. We talked about this before. But people have all these rules, like if I don't stay visible, people will forget about me. If I don't stay visible, then I won't show up on anybody's feed. If I don't do it consistently every single day, there's all these rules that we have about being consistent in business. I am one of the most inconsistent people on the planet. I don't even remember the last time I did a post. I know I did one for my book, but before that was probably, I don't know, maybe like I was posting kind of a lot in November because it was leading into the Unleashed experience. And the expression was already brewing in a big way. But I didn't post for like 6 months, and all of a sudden like I had this creative impulse of expression that wanted to come through, and I made a commitment to myself to just write from my soul every single day and share it, just like whatever my soul wants to say, share it. So I did that for like a week, and my audience was never gone. It's like with the very first post, it almost went viral. I mean, like, you know, I don't know, 100 plus likes, 50 to 150 comments, sometimes 300 comments, and I wasn't visible for months. So how do you explain that? It's energy. Effort is show up every day, show up every week. Energy is I show up once, you show up once, you have this power, you show up once in pure, raw, potent, high vibrational energy, they'll all just come flooding. You don't have to show up every single day. I don't show up every single day. And so, so there's that. Okay. The joy of the power of creation is the third quantum power. So the power of creation, we all know what this is. And when you marry the power of giving with the power of expression with the power of creation, the power of creation is when you find yourself in that state of flow. When it comes through you, not from you. So when we're not in the power of creation, it affects our ability to also be in the power of expression. Expression that comes through you, not from you. That's creation. And so this is how we continue to move up the ladder, every single step. The power of creation, the power of expression, the power of giving. We are tightening and tightening and tightening this container. And when I say the tightening of the container, in case some of you didn't watch this yesterday, what it means is we are inspiring our provider to materialize that which we desire. Our provider, Gus, God Universe Source, is inspired to just it's like picking apples from an apple tree. He's like, oh, that apple looks delicious. And he drops it in your apple basket. This is your apple basket. But if your apple basket has holes in it, or if it's only like this big, or if the lid has a hole this big and the apple's this big, the apple can't land in it, right? Okay. The fourth quantum power is the power of curiosity. So we've been talking about this all 3 days already too. And it's the power of curiosity versus attachment and conclusions. And we talked about this yesterday. The power of curiosity is the thing that keeps the container alive. It's a living, breathing thing so long as we stay curious. It keeps all of the vision that's coming to me is it keeps all of the excited anticipation bubbles dancing. And it's like all those exciting anticipation bubbles, just like the emotional grid that I popped in yesterday, that Amy popped in for us, or Ashley popped in for us yesterday, that excitement and anticipation, that's the curiosity bubbles. And that's very inspiring. Those of you that are parents, what parent doesn't love watching their child, or even aunts and uncles, when you give somebody a gift and they're opening it and they're all excited and like, ooh, what is it? as the giver of that gift, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you to open this. Like, I can't keep gifts a secret because I get so excited about what they're going to be opening and how excited they're going to be. That's the way Gus feels when we're in curiosity and excited and anticipation. Is he's like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to give you this. Like, I can't wait to see you open up this package. Like, it's like this beautiful like connection for the giver and the receiver, for the provider and the receiver. It's really cool. Yes, warm fuzzies. Like champagne. Yes, Ashley. Warm fuzzies, Michelle. Okay, so we already talked about conclusions. I'm not going to go into that. So there's a point in so when I say 100% human and 100% spiritual, what I'm talking about is insight act. So insight act is the creation and the expression all coming through. And it's really the insight plus the action equals being 100% spiritual and 100% human. This is in your workbooks. The insight comes from source, and then we have a divine role. So the provider gives us insight, Gus gives us insight. The receiver of the insight's role is to take fast action on it. So that's the human part. This is why we can't be just 100% spirit, because if we're not actually putting the action forth, then we're negating our human existence and our human experience and the joy of uncovering what it's like to materialize and experience even more as a human. So when I say insight act, that's really the magic between the play, the co-creation between Gus, the spirit, and human. And so the action, when I said it's not about hustling, but it might look like hustling, because the more that you insight act, the more insights come, and you're like boom, 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 and you're all over the place. And it's very energizing. It's very expansive. It's not heavy. It's not dense. It collapses time. Things happen in record speeds. It's just like I said, you can energy versus effort. You can do like what most people have been doing, 50 posts over the last 6 months and get the same results, or you can do one post with powerful energy in the quantum powers and get the same. So it's like, so now imagine if you only had to do one post, how much spaciousness and energy that frees up to then also do that and that and that and that and that, because now I'm not just doing 50 posts. I'm like, I can create this and I can do that and I can do this and it's like inside act, inside act, inside act, all over the place. Okay, so here's the thing is, this is a question that comes up a lot, and it's, well, what if no inspiration is coming through? What if I can't hear it? And Yelena, you kind of asked this question too, like, how do we tap into that truth and that expression? So nothing can come in, like everything needs space. And so ideas can't come into a mind that has ruminating thoughts about the past. There's no spaciousness. This is why people go to meditation or a no mind space. Everything needs a place to land. Ideas and inspiration need spaciousness in our minds. Money likes to land where there's space for it to land. If we are hoarding and not circulating money, more money can't land. It's too congested. It's too stagnant. So everything comes down to creating circulation and movement and spaciousness in energy. And so if we're not feeling inspired, or we can't hear our higher self, or we can't tap into our truth, we're too muddled. We're constipated. We're like, our systems are literally constipated. It is impossible. The lids are closed. Nothing can come in. The store's closed, right? And so there's always something you can do to just start moving energy, and that is creating space. New ideas, more money, new relationships, everything comes down to creating space. If you want to start seeing changes, start asking, what am I still holding on to that is simply a representation of my past as opposed to who I really am? And if you really want to take a look at things, and we're going to be talking about this tomorrow in the Awaken Code, what you really can take a look at is, would the person who already has manifested and created the thing she desires still be doing this? Still be having this? You want to start looking at your entire environment as though you already are where you want to be. You already are who you are becoming. This is what collapses time. And again, we'll talk more about this in the Awaken Code tomorrow. And so then you look everywhere and you're like, this isn't an energetic match for who I am in my future self. And it's creating space. My future self wouldn't be worrying about shit like that. She makes money like this. She wouldn't be worrying about a stupid bill or paying her stupid taxes. She can create money like that. So then it's like you start embodying all of that and you start creating more space. So spaciousness and movement is crucial for accessing all these powers. Curiosity creates space. Curiosity creates space. Conclusions contract space. Meditation, like I said, no mind creates space. Thinking contracts space. Physical clutter contracts physical environmental space. Clearing it out, simplifying, creates space, right? Clearing your contacts in your phone that are no longer relevant or that you've outgrown or that you have no intention of ever talking to again, but you're holding on to just in case someday maybe they will be something. Clear them out. Make room for more contacts. Clearing out old client files. You know, I don't have anything from clients, like I said, like who I attracted into my business 7 years ago is very different than who I'm attracting in today. I don't need any of that stuff. I don't need to hold on any of it. Wherever you're hoarding and keeping this stale energy, start freeing it up, start moving it, start circulating it. The list of this is endless. There's a bunch of ideas in your workbooks too, to start playing with creating space. But this is what, you know, I'm always inviting people to do is like, you can't, this is where it gets really tricky. Like, if you are creating space to receive, now you have a level of attachment that then also still collapses the energy. So just do it because spaciousness and expansiveness always opens things up, you know, because it feels lighter, because it brings you home to yourself. You know, so it's just a fine line. Even that stuff could feel like attachment. Okay, here's the thing with these 4 quantum powers. The power of giving, the power of expression, the power of creation, the power of curiosity, and then of course, the baby of curiosity. Actually, I think I want to change the power of spaciousness or the power of space. And then the baby is curiosity. But when you adopt, when you embody these 4 to 6 powers and you continue to create space, you are setting your system up to step into the awaken code, which is the highest vibrational energy available to us that I've already been alluding to. And that's where things really pick up speed. That's where we really start to tap into some of those instantaneous type manifestations, where you break your own records and defy impossibility. So that's for tomorrow, the Awaken Code. Thanks everybody for sticking with me through the tech stuff. The 3rd time was the charm, and this was a powerful one. I think tomorrow I'm just gonna do it this way so we won't have the tech stuff, although I thought I wasn't gonna have tech stuff today, but then I got really excited about the Facebook stuff. Anyways, thanks everybody for being here. Make sure you do your home play, integrate, feel into all of this, start just coming up with a couple of shifts. You're not trying to change your whole world right now. You're simply trying to integrate pieces that are sparking you the most right now. And even one tiny tweak is going to have an incredible impact on how you're experiencing your business. Okay, we'll see y'all. Bye. Oh, Jessica, perfect formula. Insight plus act equals being 100% spiritual and 100% human. That's your formula. Insight plus act equals 100% spiritual plus 100% human. And that's the ultimate co-creation process. Yay! Love you guys. We'll see ya.